Welcome to AgriSolutions' proposal for the revitalization of Detroit. We'll start the presentation by identifying the issue at hand and briefly introducing the solution. We'll present necessary background information and any analysis involved in developing the proposed solution. Finally, we'll outline an implementation plan and wrap up with suggested next steps. It is well known that the city of Detroit has seen better days. Since the 1950s, the economy and population have dwindled as critical industries have declined or relocated. As you might expect, with economic decline, unemployment and crime have skyrocketed. This steady downward spiral has left large portions of the city abandoned or in extremely poor condition. In summary, the economic and physical landscape of Detroit are in need of a major overhaul. Our group believes that within Detroit's urban blight issue, a new and unique opportunity has been created. An opportunity for Detroit to redefine its identity and to rebuild its foundation on a new, thriving, and stable industry. What if this landscape could become this? Our group's proposal is to leverage the current state of Detroit to create an alternative farming initiative. The initiative will be rolled out in 3 phases targeted at growing the industry and culture in a sustainable manner. Additionally, the 3-phase plan will provide an opportunity for evaluation against goals at each phase. At a high level, the goals of the initiative are aimed at revitalizing the city by addressing its landscape and attractiveness while creating economic opportunities for individuals and businesses.
The success of this initiative is only possible with the help of recent advances in farming techniques as a result of social and technical development. Generally, these techniques create produce more efficiently while using less land than traditional farming. Quality is also improved. Alternative agriculture can range in size and scope from a backyard garden to a large-scale farm that produces enough food for sale on major market. Community gardens are an effective way to reinvent underutilized property as shared urban farms. The result of recent efforts to create social awareness of food quality and availability, many cities have found success in promoting and harnessing local passion in agriculture. Additionally, this is a great way to provide supplemental food and income for a neighborhood or small group of people. Microfarming is a new technique that allows a single household to customize food production in their own backyard. New technologies in automation and environmental control allow anyone to produce food as efficiently and varied as they desire. Additionally, this is an opportunity for household returns. Any extra produce can be sold at local markets for profit.
Moving on to some of the smaller scale alternative farming techniques, we now move on to some techniques that can be applied on a larger scale. The first of these techniques is hydroponic farming or hydroponics. Hydroponics is the technique of soilless farming that uses nutrient solutions to feed plants. The main benefit of hydroponics is that it allows growers to more closely monitor the nutrients given to the plants. This allows them to give the plants exactly what they need, when they need it, and the precise amount required. Hydroponics can be applied in a variety of ways, and they can be either on the small or large scale, as well as indoors or outdoors. Indoor hydroponic farms provide a greater degree of control by regulating sunlight and removing the effects of weather. This allows indoor hydroponic farms to operate year-round with more precise control and better quality. Variations to hydroponics can include aquaponics, where fish are used to help the nutrient solution and can also be used as a source of protein, and aeroponics, which uses air instead of water. Out of all the techniques we've talked about today, vertical farms can be applied on the largest scale. Vertical farms are industrial spaces that are retrofitted with hydroponics to produce crops on a large scale. They produce large quantities of food in a small overall footprint by utilizing vertical space to produce layers of crops. It provides good crop control and offers year-round solutions for growing crops, making it ideal for large cities to benefit from locally grown and high-quality produce. Now we would like to discuss our relevant stakeholders. The graph on the right categorizes our stakeholders in terms of interest and power. The horizontal axis is increasing interest from left to right, and the vertical axis is increasing power from bottom to top. Specifically, I would like to focus on our 4 key stakeholders in the high power and high interest category. Those 4 stakeholders are city government, media, FDA, and consumers. The city government is a major decision maker for our proposal and will ultimately affect the implementation of it. The media directly influences the public perception and opinion, and any misinformation could be very detrimental to our program. The team has gone to great lengths to ensure a proper communication strategy, which you will hear about later. Thirdly, the FDA controls regulation for the products, as well as the safety and quality to ensure consumer confidence. Finally, the consumers, who are our end users, will ultimately decide the success or failure of our program.
As for the solution overview, we broke down our solution into 3 phases. The first phase is really short, almost just 5 years, and this is just to build the fundamentals of our project. The second phase is more 5 to 15 years, and this is the phase where we're really starting to get into the meat of our solution and develop large-scale production and new technology that's going to help us in the future. The third phase is the ongoing, almost permanent solution to the problem we have in Detroit, and that is to sustain and further develop results from previous phases. Phase 1 is very important because here we are introducing our solution to the community and stakeholders and really trying to get people involved in the helping alternative farming solve a problem in Detroit. And one of the ways to do this is to talk to small neighborhoods, property owners, and apartment complexes to encourage the start of small farms, backyard gardens, and community gardens. All of good techniques is going to be beneficial towards Detroit in the near future.
Once there is a strong positive attitude towards alternative agriculture, we will begin to implement Phase 2. Phase 2 is dependent on the success of Phase 1. And during this phase, our group will start to communicate with the local and state government, as well as business owners, to show the community's positive attitude towards alternative agriculture. The primary objective is to get local and state government to fund programs in schools to promote agriculture in school-age children, and to provide incentives for businesses to come to Detroit and start larger-scale urban farming operations. Businesses will turn abandoned factories and homes into vertical farms, business offices, and large-scale aquaponics farms. This will aesthetically update the abandoned buildings, raise property values in areas stricken by urban blight, and bring quality jobs to the area. Once our plan has achieved success in the community, the local and state government, and in the business community, we will begin to implement Phase 3. Phase 3 will focus on continuous improvement and maintaining the system in place. By this time, local subject matter experts will have gained enough knowledge to establish best practices for alternative agriculture. Subject matter experts will hold local meetings to share information, answer questions, and come up with ideas to further improve existing systems. Local meetings will also focus on keeping the younger generation interested and involved in urban agriculture.
There are several variables and issues that may arise in this project that need to be addressed. In Phase 1, we'll be generating community interest and demonstrating feasibility. After gaining community engagement, businesses can then attract investors and begin starting larger scale productions. Government grants may also be pursued for additional funding to help these startups when purchasing the required equipment and supplies. Another variable is unpredictable weather. This will be a challenge during the first phase in particular, as this relies mostly on outdoor farms. Poor weather and a bad growing season in the first few years can cause community engagement to drop off. Caution must be taken to help ensure successful growth, such as growing mostly hardy crops. Infrastructure must also be considered, as distribution channels and the receptiveness of grocery stores will be required to distribute produce to the other communities. Lastly, the current technology gap is a significant variable. Better technology will be required to efficiently grow a wider variety of plants that will meet the needs of the entire community. This is why partnering with universities and schools will be critical. In conclusion, our 3-phase plan will implement a strategy to use alternative farming techniques to reduce urban blight and bring sources of food and income back to Detroit. Phase 1 will involve a more grassroots approach to increase community knowledge and engagement with local microfarms and small-scale aquaponics. Phase 2 will build upon that momentum to bring large-scale operations into Detroit that will use abandoned lots and buildings to create high-yield farms. Phase 3 will be the ongoing sustainment of the program that will continuously improve the process with new technologies. The results of this program will include increased property values resulting from increased land and building usage, a reduction in urban blight and a significant aesthetic improvement to the Detroit landscape, increased community health by providing supplemental sources of food and income to lower-income families, and new job creation from attracting businesses to the area. The next steps for this project include starting our Phase 1 strategy communication plan, beginning by meeting with local government, schools, and universities. This leads to the Phase 1 implementation, where work begins with local neighborhoods who showed a high initial interest to build community gardens. Plans can then be made to see what lots and buildings may be beneficial in both location and structure for future large-scale operations. Discussions around distribution channels and infrastructure can also begin to set up a program for grocers to buy and distribute excess produce. After the success of this program, it can be used as a model to propose a similar solution to other cities looking to increase overall community health and property values while becoming a more environmentally friendly community.